What's good, everybody? It's your man Big Dom coming live naturally on the True Players Podcast episode on a beautiful Wednesday night. As we prep, I'm hitting you guys up before the New York Mets and Dodgers Game 3 National League Championship Series. But before I get into all of that stuff, we're going to recap last week's NFL Sunday, NFL Monday. There's also a big trade happening in the NFL with our New York Jets. Let's get right into it because you know what I'm saying. These football teams are taking away the joy I'm having over on the baseball side of it with the New York Mets. What's going on with the New York Mets? And a little bit with the Yankees. We're going to talk a little bit of the Yankees. They did go up 2-0 against Cleveland last night. We're pretty much on our way. 2 wins on the Yankee side and 3 wins away from the Mets side of having another Subway Series for the World Championship. So it's something to look forward to. But let's talk about the New York Giants. Played Monday night, which worked out best for me. I actually went to the Electrify Expo over in the Coliseum, so it gave me an opportunity to do that freely without worry about missing out on football. But I did miss out a little bit of the Giants game because I was very tired. But I did watch some of the game. The Giants lost to Joe Burrow and the Bengals 17-7. A lot of missed opportunities in the game in which the defense played a hell of a football game, sacking, creating pressure on Joe Burrow, made it tough for the Cincinnati Bengals. It was close in the first half, and then the Bengals made some big plays at the end to get the victory. You know, Daniel Jones, 22 of 41, 205 yards, and an interception, 11 carries, 56 yards. Tyrone Tracy filling in for Singletary, had 17 carries, 50 yards and a TD, and also contributed with 6 receptions for 57 yards. Again, the Giants are playing without Malik Neighbors. They need Malik Neighbors in that lineup. The offense is different with him on the field. Hopefully, he'll be clear to play next week. But Darius Slayton, 6 receptions, 57 yards. Wan'Dale Robinson, 5 receptions, 50 yards. Like I said, I'm gonna ask you Giants fans a question here. The Giants have the same record as New York Jets. Slightly lesser team in the key positions. Okay. In key positions, including the defense. They're supposed to be worse than the Jets. But it turns out that the defense is far more superior than the Jet defense. If you add DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner on the Giants side of the defense, you can have a number 1 defense in the NFL. Real talk. Number 1 defense. That's how close they are. These boys know how to rush the passer with Thibodeau, Burns, and other linebacker that they traded for. These guys get to the quarterback. If they can find themselves some great cornerbacks and get this offense rolling the way it's supposed to be, this is a playoff team in a very tough NL East division. Now, do I regret them losing Saquon Barkley? Of course I do. But they got backers that's filled in. They got new players in that running back room that's filled in just as fine. But a lot of missed opportunities on the Giants side of the football that prevented them from going 3-3. I'd love to ask you guys this question, Giants fans. Get on the podcast. So I'm talking about your team, which I think. Because your team looks a whole lot better than the New York Jets side of Florham Park. They really do. Looks like a well-disciplined machine. And I say that the key word is discipline. The Jets are so undisciplined. You had the nerve to work on a trade before the game. Before the game against the Bills, a team that you should have beaten Monday night. They should have beaten the Bills Monday night. There's no excuses for that. There's no excuses why they didn't beat the Bills Monday night. And they still had chances at the end of the game to seal the deal. Still had chances. Mikewilliams slips and gets Aaron Rodgers' ball intercepted because he slipped on the field. I don't know. I'm not gonna blame him entirely. This guy probably has the worst luck ever in the Jet uniform. The worst luck ever. And this is a talented receiver, guys. This is a talented receiver. And he looks like he looks so pedestrian on that field. He doesn't know the routes. He doesn't know. He's not in sync with the quarterback, and he's costing quarterback interceptions. Meanwhile, beneath the surface, they're working on a trade to get the quarterback's perfect receiver for him in the Jet uniform, which was finally finalized yesterday, with Davante Adams coming now officially a New York Jet. But let me ask you a question, guys. With the trade of Davante Adams, does that help the problem with us not being able to stop the run? Does it help us to be more disciplined now on defense and offense, whether it's having holding calls or lining up both sides? Does that help that part of the game? The answer is no. If you can't clear up that side of those things, your team's going to be home again and watch everybody else at the playoffs. This is a football game that they could not lose. They lost it. 2 missed field goals by the sure kicking Greg Zuerlein. Granted, it was windy out there. The first field goal, I think the wind took that up. The second field goal that he just plain missed. He just plain missed that field goal. There's no excuses for that. Jeff Ulbricht's debut as head coach of the New York Jets was pretty much the same shit we were seeing with Robert Saleh. Undisciplined, penalties, more pass interference calls against your so-called all-pro cornerbacks. They're not getting the respect from the referees as far as defending the routes. They're stuck in this. They've been playing more man-to-man. They sure did. They played more man-to-man. However, you got to be able to close the deal on third down, get off the field on third down, and give your offense, your talented offense, an opportunity to get some easy touchdowns. Tyrod Smith from the Dallas Cowboys is making Mekhi Becton look like an all-pro right now. How many sacks has he given up the past 2 weeks? Better yet, how many QB pressures has he given up over the past 2 to 3 weeks? I get Moses was back, just came back. He's rusty, came back in the game, came back. But the running game, they was running over to Moses' side of the football. Okay. One thing about Downing as a offensive play caller of the New York Jets, the running game looked a whole lot better. We saw the old Breecehall get his 15 carries. How many carries he got, guys? 18 carries, 118 yards. That's like almost 6 yards per carry. 6 yards and some change per carry. That's the Breecehall we know. We wasted a good effort out of him. You know what we wasted a big effort out of him? Because on the defensive side of the ball, we can't stop the fucking run. Can't stop the run. Like, what? And this is not the only year this team can't stop the run. Because they couldn't stop the run last year. They couldn't stop the run the year before. And on a key third down play to get the Jets back the ball with less than a minute to go to try to either win the game or tie the game, Michael Clemens loses containment, and Josh Allen beats him around for the game clinching first down. Lost outside containment. That's discipline, guys. You know this quarterback could run out the pocket. So what are we doing? Why are we losing? Losing discipline. Why are we losing outside containment? As much as I used to diss John Franklin Myers, call him the world champion of roughing the passer on third down, I want that boy back on our team. I want that man back on our team. Where's Al Woods? Yeah, people have no to complain about Quinton Williams. Quinton Williams is getting double and triple team each time he steps on that fucking field. He got no one next to him to open things up for him. No one else. It took the game would have went so bad if Allenlazard didn't catch that Hail Mary pass at the end of the first half, which was a hell of a catch. Aaron Rodgers knew where to throw it to, and he made the catch. But the problem I'm having here with Aaron Rodgers is you got to learn how to create chemistry with your main receiver, which is Garrett Wilson. It's getting better. Garrett Wilson got another 100-yard game with a TD, right? It's getting better, but I need to be even more better. You're a veteran quarterback. Have a talk. You guys need to sit in a room, spend about 8 hours in film study to understand where each other's heads at to get this thing fixed. You're bringing in Davante Adams, which is going to take away touches away from Garrett Wilson. It's going to take away touches from Garrett Wilson. It's going to take away touches from Allenlazard, which I don't have a problem with. Mike Williams is sure to be traded. They don't want him on the team. I don't think Aaron Rodgers wants him on the team. He didn't throw him under the bus in the press conference that he won the wrong route on the red line or some shit. Listen, that's a quarterback who don't want nobody. Is Aaron Rodgers don't want Mike Williams. Mike Williams is getting the Denzel Mims treatment. The Denzel Mims treatment. But that guy is a 6'4" wide receiver who could run down the field and catch the ball. He had some decent years. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, C.J. Mosley played in this game. I'm not sure how many snaps he played in. It wasn't a lot, but he was in uniform. Like I said, 11 team penalties for 110 yards. That's your football game. Listen, the Bills had 11 penalties too. But they're able to overcome it because you had an offense and their quarterback who was younger, who was in sync with his receivers, and just knows how to win. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers doesn't know how to run. I'm not saying that. But they underestimate the fact that Josh Allen also knows how to win as well. And he's younger. I'm not here to say Aaron Rodgers, it may be Aaron Rodgers' final days as a quarterback. He should retire, this, that, and the other. But you have to understand when you're trading for a 40-year-old quarterback, you gotta have certain things in place for him. Gotta have a stout offensive line. Maybe you gotta dig out Damian Woody, Nick Mangold, the Brickshaw, Pete Kendall, or Faneca, and Damian Woody. And butt fumble guy, Brandon Moore. Get those guys from 2009 and give it to Aaron Rodgers to see how he does with that offensive line. Real talk. Because this outside of Vera Tucker, outside of Tipman, and the guard, the two tackles are the problem. But I'm sure Moses is going to fix that. But if I was Jeffulbricht and Tyron Smith, that's why I told everybody, people who hated me for saying this in previous podcasts, they should have re-signed Mekhi Becton to a lower deal and let him have another opportunity. Now you got a guy from the Dallas Cowboys who's in his late 30s doing the same shit Mekhi Becton did last year, becoming a turnstile. Each time Aaron Rodgers draws back for a pass. It's time. I don't care what anybody. I don't care. It's time to let the rookie Olaf Fashanu now start there now. He looked pretty decent in the right tackle position. Had some blocks, but that was in his position. Let that boy go on the left tackle and see what happens. Because this Tyron Smith is not the answer at left tackle. Not the answer. Like I said, Downing's first game as play call on offense. Look, better design, run design, better assimilation to the player's talents, to Breecehall's talent as a runner, less zone blocking and more man-on-man blocking. We saw a change in the offensive line, more man-on-man blocking when it comes to running the football. Okay, but the players just didn't execute all the plays. It's plain and simple. Just plain and simply did not execute all the plays. And to think, they only lost by 3 points. The two field goals are a difference in this football game. It's 6 points. The penalties are also a difference. Not being able to stop the run, not being able to get off the field on third down is a difference. You fix those three things, Buffalo doesn't score 23 points. They're getting blown out. And yes, we did trade for Davante Adams. He's going to bring a different element to the offense. Absolutely. Just familiarity with Aaron Rodgers is going to be a big boost, not just for the team, but just for Garrettwilson. To have him in the room with Garrettwilson to make him understand how Aaron Rodgers works is a big bonus. But you don't know how many years the New York Jets have with Aaron Rodgers. Don't know. You may have bought Aaron Rodgers for one more year by making this trade. One more year, just one more year. But me looking at the whole situation, the Jets should have drafted another quarterback, get him prepped to take over for next season. Soak up all of Aaron Rodgers' knowledge and get him prepped for takeover next year. Because unlike Brett Favre when he left the Jets got Mark Sanchez. And the team was already built to win. Offensive line was set. Receiving core was set. Running back was set. Defense was set. You can't say that about this team going into next year. You can't say that. If this was the defense of last year, yes, you could say that. But it's not the defense of last year. It's just not. It's just not. So, I'm done with talking about the bad news. Let's get on to great news. Happy times in New York City, courtesy of Citi Field and the Bronx. Okay? The New York Mets got the ass-beaten game one in the National League Championship Series. They bounced back on Tuesday. No, they bounced back on Monday to tie the series up 1-1. The Mets took advantage of the pitching by committee, and this is where I feel the Mets have an advantage over the Dodgers. It's the starting pitching. The Dodgers only have one or two starting pitchers. Clayton Kershaw's not even pitching. They got Yamamoto, and there's another guy they had that pitched on Sunday. But the Mets have an opportunity here to beat the Dodgers. You know why they have the opportunity to beat the Dodgers? And I don't know if you heard me mention this on previous podcasts, is when I spoke about baseball with Matthew, or just me speaking on baseball in general. The importance of having three decent starting pitchers, left-handed starting pitchers in your rotation. The key to me to building a pure championship baseball staff that'll get you to the World Series every year is having two high quality left-handed pitching in your starting rotation. And then you got the three aces on the right that throws right-handed. This is why the Braves won how many National League titles in the 90s into the 2000s. You had Smoltz, Maddox. You had Smoltz and Maddox, the top right-handers. Then you had Glavine, Merker, and I forgot the other pitcher. Damn, I forgot that other pitcher. But you had four starters capable of winning 15 games a year. And two of them are left-handed. So if you got a big bopper who's left-handed, you say you got a Barry Bonds type of player on the other side of the field, you had a left-handed to hold them down. And that's what the Mets got right now. They got Quintana, they got Manai, who pitched a hell of a game in game 2, went 5 innings plus. I felt he should have let him go 6 innings because that Phil, every time they bring in Phil Maton, my heart is in my throat, bro. My heart is in my throat. This guy makes me nervous. Every time I see him get on the mound during the playoffs, he puts my heart to my throat. This dude scares the fuck out of me. Scares the living fuck out of me. He looks scared out there. You could see it on his face. He looks scared. Stanek, man, that's the guy you got to go to. Stanek, you go to Stanek, 7th inning, you close out with Edwindiaz. Even Edwindiaz, you gotta have the Rolaids ready. Stop popping those Rolaids and not look at the television screen. But the Mets are in good shape. But the key is they gotta win tonight with Severino to set up Quintana. I'm not comfortable with Quintana pitching down 2-1. But I'm supremely comfortable with Quintana pitching up 2-1 as a starter. The reason why I say that is not because of Quintana. It's because of our bullpen. We got a lot of scared guys in that bullpen, which I did did not agree with them leaving Ottavino out of the bullpen. For me, he looks like a more safer bet than Maton. Looks like a more safer bet. Maton looks scared of his goddamn mind. I'm sorry, guys. If you're a Met fan, like this post if you agree with me on this. Maton looks like a scared little bitch out there. They've been overusing Garrett. David Peterson is a great weapon. Even though the Dodgers got to him in game 1, he's still a weapon in the series. So the Mets have to figure out a way to use him properly. It's all set up, okay? It's all set up the way it's supposed to set up. You're going to have, if it gets to that fall, which I hope it does not, because it messes up our rotation for the World Series. You got Manaea, Game 6, Severino, Game 7. Sets up perfectly. I will not let Kodai Senga pitch anymore in this series. He's just not ready yet. He's not ready. He's not ready. You can't risk that. Not in this high stakes series. For all the magic that this team has, this team has to win the World Series. It has to go to the World Series and win it. This team worked too hard over the last few weeks of the regular season to make the playoffs and then beat Milwaukee the way they beat Milwaukee in their last at bat in Milwaukee. And then beating the second best team in the National League in the Phillies. This team is destined to go to the World Series and win it. And the team cannot go down like that. But it's up to the management, which is Carlos Mendoza has been managing great, but sometimes he does overmanage. Sometimes you just follow your gut and then let pitchers like Manaea, who deserves. If you're gonna lose with your best shooter on the field. Don't give it to Maton to blow it for you. And try your best as a pitching staff to minimize Edwindiaz trying to get 4 outs. Let Edwindiaz just get 3 outs to close the game, then try to get 4 or 5 outs to do it. We can't sit there and try to recreate Mariano Rivera all the time with every good reliever. We gotta stop doing that. Mariano Rivera was on a different plane than all relievers in baseball history. He was on a different plane. No reliever could do what he could do. No reliever in history could do what he did. No reliever. So we gotta stop making our relievers thinking that they can do the same thing he did. How many times have I seen Mariano Rivera come into a baseball game in the playoffs with bases loaded in the top of the 8th inning and get out of it without giving up a run? You gotta be honest. When I'm gonna put out there, when the Mets get past the Dodgers, they're gonna deal with the same issues with the Yankees, with the top left-handed hitter in Soto, and then you got to do it. And then you got to navigate around Judge and Stanton, and don't forget Rizzo. His left-handed bat is very dangerous too. He hasn't had the big season, the season that he had in San Diego, but keep in mind he is coming off injury. And the Mets, the Yankees starting pitching is not the level of Pettit, Clemens, Jimmy Key. Who am I missing? I'm bringing up David Cone and David Wells. They're not. That Yankee pitch staff is not on that level. It's not on that level. So these Yankees are beatable. It takes the right team to beat them, and I don't think the Commanders are the right team that could beat them. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. The Commanders are not the team to beat the Yankees. I mean the Guardians. My bad. The Guardians. My bad. To me, they're still the Cleveland Indians, if you ask me. But hey. So what you guys think before I end this podcast? Are we destined to see a New York Yankee World Series once again? Instant rematch of 24 years ago. Instant rematch. The teams are different. Teams are different. So you guys let me know. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but hey, listen. You got to put positive energy in the air to win. That's my thought. That's my thought of the day. Put positive things in the air. First pitch with the New York Mets is going to be 8:08 p.m. on FS1. Watch the baseball game. Get your popcorn, and then when it gets to the 8 and 9 innings, if you're a Met fan and the Mets have a lead, make sure you get yourself your Rolaids ready and your Tums ready. There's going to be a whole lot of indigestion going on in those last 2 innings. I promise you that. Typical Met fashion, I guess, right? Typical Met fashion. So, next week, big game. Jets are playing against the Steelers. The Jets have to beat the Steelers to save their season. They have to go 3-4. They can't go down 2-5 and expect to win. And expect to go to the playoffs. They got to beat the Steelers. The Giants Giants got a big week. They got to end up 3-4 by the end of next week. If they to be in the hunt for the NFC East. So I think the NFC East is wide open. The Commanders, Commander? I'm going to call them the Redskins. Fuck it. The Redskins is on a roll, bro, with that rookie quarterback. On a roll. Dan Quinn has done a great job with those Redskins. I wish I had my cousin Dave on the show to talk about the Redskins. That's his team. Maybe it'd be a good idea for me to have him on the show. I'm about to tag him on this shit. Once we're done, I'm about to tag him on this podcast. But definitely, the Redskins, Commanders, whatever you want to call them, are playing some great football. The surprise of the NFC East. If you ask me, the surprise of the NFC East. What a turnaround from Ron Rivera and Sam Howell of last year to this rookie quarterback in Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's going to making the most of his second opportunity as head coach. Former Jet coach, mind you, former Jet coach. Okay. So what you guys think? Let me know. Hit me up. You can catch me on YouTube at True Players Podcast. Catch me on Patreon at True Players Podcast. Catch me on Spotify at True Players Podcast. Like, subscribe, follow. I'm trying to get my subscribers up to at least 100 by the end of the year. Definitely follow me. All right? Definitely follow me. It's been a great, once again, I'm just blessed to give you guys another great episode tonight. But we got to go and get prepared for the Mets versus Dodgers Game 3. I'm going to get myself prepped up. I'm going to go talk to my brother, Joey G. Big shout out to Joey G. Shout out to Mars. Shout out to Down Your Den podcast. Shout out to down in the Den Studios. Big shout out to everybody who's been on the podcast. Can't wait to bless you guys with all of us on the show again. And also part 5 of the True Players Podcast Anniversary Series. Miss Taniqua, where are you? So we're gonna save that to the end. Hopefully we get that podcast up going as well. All right, it's your man Big Dom. I'm gonna sign off on this podcast. Hit y'all in the next episode. Peace.